PowerPoint, there's none of the extra stuff?
Yes, just the PowerPoint.
Okay, perfect. Well, if you guys see me looking over here, then it's on this screen now because it won't pull up on this screen. So my camera's over here, presentation's over here. But thank you guys all for joining today. Just want to take a couple minutes to walk you guys through sort of how to crush a virtual career fair. I know this is all very different for all of us, employers included. Different world we're living in right now. So just wanted to make sure that I could help you guys prepare for sort of expectations and ways that you guys can get ready for the career fair, which is coming up in only a couple days on Tuesday of next week. So to start off, my name is Erica Lott. I'm a talent acquisition specialist in our Orlando office. We actually don't even have an office in Louisiana right now, but we are opening up an office in New Orleans November 2nd, which we're really excited about. So we have a couple people that are moving all around in our company to help open up that office. This is my contact information. So if you want to go ahead and jot this down, take a picture of the slide, whatever might be best for you. If you want to follow up after this presentation, if you have extra questions that you come up with and you can't ask them during this presentation or anything like that, or even if you're interested in opportunities with Insight Global, I can help you out with that as well. That is my primary job with us. But yeah, and so just to continue a little bit about who we are as a company. So we're a staffing agency based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and we're founded in 2001. So what we're doing is partnering with Fortune 1000 companies on their staffing and hiring needs. So one of the fastest growing staffing firms, we're an IT staffing firm at our bread and butter, but we also have accounting, finance, engineering, government services. We also just launched a health services division. So the list sort of goes on. And sort of our purpose as a company and why we exist is to grow our people personally, professionally, and financially. That's something that our CEO just implemented about 2 or 3 years ago within our company, and that's really what we strive to do. So just want to give you guys a little bit of background about our company because we are a staffing agency. What we do for a living is to help people get jobs. So that's why I wanted to be able to help you guys out and share the information that we've had in this as professionals in this industry throughout the past several years. And currently right now we do have 58 offices across the country. So as you can see here, all of the little gray or white dots, those are our current offices, and then the blue dots are offices that we are planning on opening up. You can see New Orleans down there. Again, that's opening up on November 2nd, which we are extremely excited about, and a couple other offices opening up across the country as well. So we typically open up about 3 to 5 offices a year with a 10-year plan of having 100 offices across the country. So to get to the career fair, I know that's what you guys are here for. So to learn more about how to sort of navigate this virtual career fair. First, why should you even attend a career fair? I get this question a lot because people say, you know, I'm still in school, I can figure out what I want to do after school, but a career fair gives you the opportunity to first learn how to present your professional side. So engaging with employers early on in your college career just lets you really navigate how those conversations work, what employers are really looking for, what you're looking for whenever you are going to graduate. And it really just opens up unlimited opportunities, and you can really make those really strong connections. So I know it's really great. I know some of you guys on here may be even a freshman or a sophomore, maybe early on in your college life, but the earlier that you start attending career fairs, the better you can start building these connections with employers. Then by the time that you get to graduation, you've already been talking to employers. You already have a good idea of which companies you may be interested in, which companies you might not. That way you can narrow that down by the time you're graduating. And of course, you can land a job or an internship. A lot of people think it may be just for a job opportunity, but you can actually find an internship opportunity at a career fair as well. So beforehand, just make sure you're figuring out what's right for you right now. Are you looking for a job, or are you looking for an internship, and seeing which companies offer which opportunities so you know which career fair booths you want to be visiting throughout the fair. So before the career fair, first make sure to go ahead and set everything up ahead of time. Everything, as of I think it was just 48 hours ago, got switched over to Handshake. So make sure you guys know that everybody should already have a profile. So it's super simple. You can go in and just start picking out your schedule. So you can start registering for group sessions with employers. Up to 50 people can join those, or you can also schedule one-on-one sessions with employers. It might even be a good idea to do both. I know for me, I'm hosting my group sessions as it's sort of like a presentation explaining a lot about Insight Global and our company, and then opening it for a Q&A. But then afterwards would give you the opportunity to do a one-on-one session if you wanted to schedule that too, so I can learn more about you and your background if you are really interested, and you could ask some private one-on-one questions as well afterwards. So make sure you look at that. I know some employers, since it was a recent switch, are still setting up their schedules. So that I think the deadline to do that might be Sunday night. So by Monday, all those schedules should be there, and you should be able to go in and sort of game plan which companies you want to look into. So going off of that, also do your homework and prepare as if you're going into an actual career fair. If you're going to take the time to do this, make it as beneficial as possible. So take some time to look and see which employers will be at the career fair. Look into their websites, look on their social media, look at their LinkedIn, try to connect with a few people, and try to see what that company has to offer and if it aligns what you're looking for. Doing so too, whenever you're going to be talking to these employers, that will really impress them if you're coming to them already knowing a lot about their company, or even just knowing a couple things about their company, and showing that you did do a little bit of homework beforehand, and also shows how serious you are. Sorry, I think somebody was just waiting to be admitted. Okay. So next, also update your resume and update your LinkedIn. I'm going to touch on that a little bit more here in a second, but just a couple more things to make sure you're doing before the virtual career fair. Okay, so updating your resume. I get a lot of questions on how exactly to format a resume. I would keep it just to about a page. At the top, have your name. I'd have it bigger than the rest of your font, maybe in bold, centered. Something easy to read and just to really get attention. After that, make sure you have all of your contact information. So have your phone number, have your email address. If you have a LinkedIn profile, which you should, make sure to link that on your profile as well. And just any other way that an employer can get in contact with you. The last thing that you want is to be sharing a resume with somebody and not having your contact information on there, because then they're not even going to be able to follow up with you afterwards. So make sure you have that contact information there. And if whenever you are using the email address, make sure it's an email that you actually check a lot, and make sure that those emails aren't going to spam as well. Next, after that, make sure that you have a quick little objective or professional summary. So just 1 to 2 sentences just to sum up your professional goals and what you're trying to get out of this internship or job experience. So quick touch point on this and sort of the rest of the resume. If you're interested in multiple things, or if you don't know exactly what you're looking to get into, maybe there's a variety of categories, such as you're interested in sales, but you're also interested in marketing, but you're also interested in real estate. You can actually create several resumes and tailor those to those specific job opportunities. That way that employer can see your specific interests and your specific qualifications for that particular career. But in this 1 to 2 sentence summary, you just want to keep it short and simple. Some things that I would include in there is when you're graduating, of course, the school that you're going to, your major, what sort of opportunities that you're looking for, which industry you're mainly interested in, and maybe which location that you'd be interested in a career as well. Of course, education, work experience, include that as well. We know too, as employers, that you all are in college. You might not have a ton of real world work experience, but just include what you have. I mean, I remember on my college resume, I even had soccer referee on there. Just showing some experience that I have, it still shows that I got out there and had initiatives. So whatever experience that you have, make sure that you include that and make sure that you can explain to employers too what experience that you've had. Relevant skills as well. Just make sure you're able to communicate to the employer why you'd be a valuable addition to their team. So things like language, if you speak another language, add that. That's awesome. There's certain careers that want people to be bilingual if they're going to bring them onto their team. If you're proficient in certain computer technologies, make sure to include that as well. And then finally, edit and proofread. I can't say this enough. The last thing you want is to put all of this effort into creating a resume and then sending it over with a ton of errors in it. It's going to show that employer that you're not really taking things seriously, and that you didn't take in the amount of time and effort that you should to make sure your resume is perfect and presentable. So as a person, you're going to miss a lot of your own errors creating your resume. So send it to a friend, send it to a teacher, send it to me. I can help you with it as well. Whatever it may be, make sure somebody else has a second set of eyes on your resume to make sure it's looking great. You can get some feedback on it and make sure there's no errors there. Stopping real quick, does anybody have any questions so far about your resume or any preparation before the career fair? Nope. All right, cool. It looks like there's something in the chat. Okay, Jenna, that was just you. Perfect. All right, so moving along. Next, update your LinkedIn. So hopefully everybody here has a LinkedIn. If not, the second we get off of this, make sure to go create a LinkedIn profile. It's extremely important, especially for employers to find you, especially in a virtual world. I know myself as an employer, how I find students to work for my company is looking on LinkedIn. So make sure that this is up to date and it's looking presentable. Essentially, it's just a resume that's online. So first off, make sure you have a professional picture. So just a simple headshot, just yourself. Make sure you look appropriate. Make sure it's not too far away. It's not blurry. Make sure it's good quality. That's kind of your first impression. That's the first image that this employer is going to see of you. So make sure that you have something presentable there. Sometimes if people don't have a LinkedIn photo, I might, if I'm going really quickly through LinkedIn, it's easy to skip over somebody. So try to have that photo. It's really going to draw employers as well. Background photo, just kind of a second visual to give employers as well. So you can also include that. Headline and your summary, just again, keep it short, simple, sweet, very similar to that simple bio, that 1 to 2 sentence bio on your resume as well. Next, you want to include all of your experience. So on a resume, you typically keep your resume to about a page at max for an employer. But the nice thing about LinkedIn is there's no max. You can put everything on your LinkedIn profile. So include everything, include bullet points and descriptions under each topic. Make sure you have them, in chronological order, and you're including your titles, any leadership positions. You want to try to make this as presentable and show all of the qualities that you have on your LinkedIn profile. Next is education. So as crazy as it sounds, sometimes on their LinkedIn profile, students will forget to put that they go to LSU. So make sure to put that. I know we love hiring LSU grads in all of our offices since we haven't had an office in New Orleans yet. Typically, all of our students will go to Houston or Dallas. Those are two of the offices that most of our LSU grads will go to. And we love hiring LSU grads. So whenever I'm searching for students, I'll even just put in LSU as a school and just try to talk to everybody from LSU and see what they're interested in. So make sure you're including that. It'll make your views go up. I believe the statistic is like 60% or something by including your school. And of course, your major, your minor, your degree, and also your graduation date. So quick tidbit here too, if you're graduating in December, make sure to put that somewhere on your profile as well. That way employers know. So if they're trying to hire for people to start in the beginning of the year, instead of during the summer, they know that exact graduation date for you. Skills and recommendations, try to include those as well. Again, just trying to fill out everything as much as you can on your LinkedIn profile. That way you can become more visible to an employer. Recommendations are very similar to a reference. So I remember whenever I was first trying to create my profile and get some recommendations, I just reached out to some colleagues. So for you guys, you could reach out to classmates, you could reach out to friends, maybe in your groups or organizations, a teacher, have somebody go on there and just write a quick little summary about why they would refer you to any company. It sort of goes a long way, and it's just another thing to really take your profile to the next level. Any questions about LinkedIn before I go on? All right, so moving along. Okay, so before the career fair, also practice your pitch. So practice makes perfect. You want to really perfect this. So take a lot of time to really think about how you're going to introduce yourself, what you're really interested in a company. I know it's different than going up to somebody in person and introducing yourself, but how to do that virtually whenever you're entering maybe a chat or a one-on-one session or group session. Have your cameras on, look presentable, look excited, look ready, greet the person that you're going to be talking to and introduce yourself. First impressions are everything. So employers can typically decide if they think that you're going to be a good fit for their company within the first 30 seconds sometimes. So make sure you're taking that beginning time as you're introducing yourself to really impress that employer. And then just try to take some time too to think about what positions you're really interested in. Like I said before, if you don't have it all figured out and know exactly the career path for you, that is totally fine. I don't think I figured out what I was doing until maybe my senior year of college, and then I had a better idea. But try to get some interest on, okay, do you maybe want an opportunity of working with people, or would you rather kind of do some desk work behind a computer? Would you rather making phone calls or making client interactions in person? Try to think about what you want to be doing in your career long term, and then be able to sell yourself and your strengths. So think about what makes you a great candidate. So it's okay to be a little bit selfish here, but you have to think about what makes you a strong candidate for this client, and make sure you're able to tell that employer that as well. And of course, be able to talk about anything on your resume. So especially if you have a public resume, these employers will be able to see your resume, or if you share it with them, and they're going to have questions about some of your background and want to hear you elaborate on those things instead of just what you've written down on your resume. So be prepared to talk about any of those things as well. Next, test your technology. Jen and I actually had a little bit of problems just here today. It happens all the time and it's totally fine. We'll get past it, but this makes life easier. Beforehand, check your internet connection. Make sure you have a good connection. Make sure your camera and microphone are working properly so you can actually go in and test those things out with a friend beforehand, just to make sure you know how everything is operating beforehand. And then I would, if you could, avoid using AirPods or headphones if possible. Sometimes they'll pick up background noise. I've noticed that sometimes, but if not, it's also fine. You can sort of test that out too to see if your headphones cause that or not. Some do, some don't. So just to test that too. But make sure you're getting all of that ready, and also make sure that you're just in a private area that doesn't have any distractions. If people live with roommates, make sure they know that you are in a virtual career fair. That way you can avoid anybody awkwardly coming in and disturbing you in the middle of a conversation with an employer or saying anything to embarrass you. Trust me, it's happened before, so just a heads up.
And Erica, we have a great question from John popping up in the chat. He asked, would you recommend standing with a computer on an elevated surface when interacting with employers rather than sitting down at a desk?
So really all an employer is going to be able to see is sort of what you can see here in this little square. So whatever makes you feel more confident. I know some people feel more confident if they're standing up and really able to engage more. Some people want to feel comfortable and be able to sit down. So think about whatever works best for you in that sense, because really, again, they're only going to be able to see this top square. So whatever you feel more confident in. Great question. And next, so now we're in the virtual career fair. So during the career fair, first, dress for the job that you want. Again, you're only going to be able to see this tiny square. So, I mean, if you're wearing sweatpants, I don't see an employer asking you to stand up and show your full outfit. But if that makes you feel more confident to, I mean, even girls wear heels while you're in this virtual interview, go for it. If not, then feel free to be comfortable. So whatever feels best for you, but just make sure at least what the employer can see is very presentable, it's polished, it's professional, shows that you're taking this seriously and that you care about these opportunities. Next, set the scene. So again, just make sure that you don't have any distractions going on and you're able to like really focus and give your full attention on this career fair. Again, I know I said it before, but first impressions are everything. So just get ready to put yourself out there. You should feel confident about yourself, and whenever you're talking to these employers, let them know how great of an asset you would be to their company. Next, build a relationship the second you make contact. So drive that conversation. See what the employer has going on during the week. See what they have planned maybe for the fall, if they have any upcoming events. Just try to make it personal, get to know them a little bit, and see like what their experiences are with their company as well. Don't be afraid to be the one that's really driving that conversation with that employer. Yes, they're looking for people that are going to be joining their company, but you're also looking for a career. That is as equal as important. So make sure that you're able to get as much out as you can from these conversations as possible. Ask questions. So this goes back to your pre-career fair preparation. Make sure you have a couple questions prepared. Like what matters most to you whenever you're looking for a career or for an internship? Is it the pay? Is it the culture? Is it growth opportunities? Is it the training and development? Whatever it may be, make sure you sort of figure out what's most important to you, because some of these conversations, the one-on-one sessions are 10 minutes. They can go by quickly. So make sure you're able to sort of rank your priorities and see what matters most. That way you can ask those most important questions toward the beginning of your conversation. And finally, wrap it up. So first impressions are everything, but also how you end it is very important as well. And ask for the next step. So after you're talking to them, if this is an opportunity that you're interested in, ask how you can get a hold of that employer. See what their contact information is, the best way to reach them, the best time to reach them, what the next steps are, if you need to apply online, if you just need to keep following up with them, whatever that may be, ask those things as well. Any questions about during the career fair? Or do you guys have any questions about how it's going to be operating, or are you guys excited about it?
And feel free to drop in the chat any of your thoughts, questions, or if you feel comfortable and you want to unmute yourself and just kind of voice them, you're welcome to do that too.
So is the career fair basically just going to be a bunch of breakout rooms that we are put into, like virtually, or?
Essentially, so I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Jenna, but you sort of walk in and there's kind of like a hallway and you can sort of pick which room you're going into, but you're setting your schedule up ahead of time. So then you'll be able to select if you want to be a part of that company's group session, which can be up to 50 people, or if you want to be a part of a one-on-one session, which you would have the opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with that employer, and that would be for 10 minutes. Group sessions are 30 minutes. You have the opportunity to sort of build your schedule out ahead of time. And then you can view your full schedule whenever you're on Handshake. So each session will have a different link that you'll go back and click into to go to that next session that you have prepared.
Yeah, Erica, that's a great overview. So we're using Handshake. That's going to be your way to register, but that's also now going to be the way that you actually navigate the fair. So if you went to the one on Tuesday, that was a completely different platform. This one is going to be in and done all through Handshake. Like Erica mentioned, you're essentially able to set up your schedule in advance. So you can say, oh, look, Insight Global has some spaces one-on-one or in groups, and you can select the ones and at the times that you want to go. So you'll be able to see all of this in Handshake. Some employers have already set their schedule up and they're ready to go. Some of them will set them up over the weekend. So Monday would probably be the latest that you would see those schedules popping up. If we have time at the end, I'll show the video that I dropped in the chat. But I put that there so you're able to see a really good walkthrough of how do you get on Handshake, how do you log in. When you click on the events tab, you'll see fairs, and that's where you're going to go to be able to navigate it. But it walks you through how you're able to sign up for any sessions that you're interested in with whichever employers that you want to target. So great question. I know it's a little confusing with the pivot, so thank you all for bearing with us and kind of switching over. I see someone asking in the chat, what is the app? This will be hosted on Zoom. So this will be all through Handshake unless an employer says, here's a Zoom room, we're switching over this for any reason, but all of it should be straight through Handshake, and there's video features directly in there. And John asked, do we set our schedules through Handshake too? Yes. So all of that will happen in the same space. So it should be hopefully even easier than before of setting it all up, getting it ready to go. You'll be able to kind of see your schedule in advance for the day. So great questions. I know it's a little bit confusing, and I have a couple other slides of just like if you want some tips or recommendations or anything like that on more of the platform logistics, I'll give you some of that at the end as well.
Hi, will we be getting individual Zoom links for like the group sessions and like a one-on-one? Or will they go from like a breakout room to a one-on-one?
So it'll all be through Handshake, so it's super simple. I think it might be in the video that Jenna will be able to show too, but whenever you're on your Handshake, you're going to be able to click schedule, and your whole schedule that you have created on your own will pop up, and the next it'll just say like join or a simple button that you can click to open up that video chat. So it won't have to take you to another platform or anything like that, but it should be super simple. And then as soon as that chat ends, you just go back to your schedule, click join again, and then you're into that next one.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks,
yeah, of
Lauren.
course. Again, super confusing. We're here to help. I've been confused for the past week and I've watched all these tutorials, so no worries.
And there's a lot of tutorials out there, so you'll get some via email. I'm going to follow up with an email that has the video link, but also has some quick tips and some different articles and videos that you can watch and read. So hopefully it will give you tons of information to feel really comfortable. If you've been in Handshake before, it's going to feel really familiar. So that's the nice thing. If you've already applied to jobs, like all of this is going to look super similar to what you've already used, which is really helpful.
Perfect. So only a couple slides left here. So if you do have any questions, you can ask them at the end as well. So after the career fair, so now you've gone through the career fair, you've talked to all these employers, we've already talked about this, but follow up with them. So if you took the time to get their information, make sure to set a block of time, maybe after the career fair the next morning, to follow up with emails. Go add them on LinkedIn too and say it was nice meeting them at the career fair. Don't be afraid too to follow up with them if you haven't heard back. They're probably getting a ton of emails and they've been out of work for a full day to attend the career fair, so they're going to be playing a little bit of catch up. Emails get lost in the shuffle, so maybe in a week or so, if you haven't heard back, follow up again, and they'll show, you know, or that'll show them too how interested you are and that you're able to really stay in touch with them. Also, if a company does require you to apply online, make sure you do so. So some companies will, some won't. Maybe you just need to talk to that recruiter that you talked to before, but they should be able to let you know those next steps. And then organization is key here too, especially if you're younger, maybe a sophomore or junior, and you're not graduating for a while. You're going to be attending a lot more career fairs. Create maybe an Excel doc and make a sort of list of companies that you really enjoyed meeting with and you think that could be a potential career opportunity for you. And maybe some companies that didn't really align with what you're looking for. And maybe you won't continue to talk to them in the years to come. So make sure that you're keeping track of all that information. Save all those job descriptions and notes together too. You can just put it all in a Word document, save it as one file, and that way before the next career fair you go to, or maybe a month or so down the line, whenever you're looking for a job opportunity, that you can go back and look through those opportunities as well. And on that Excel doc, you can also include, you know, things like the person that you talked to, what's that recruiter's name, what was their contact information. Have all of that information together, so whenever you are trying to go back, you're not trying to remember all these details. If y'all's memory is like mine, you won't remember it, so make sure that you keep track of all of that while you can. And that is about all I have. So I know I've answered a couple of questions throughout the presentation, but if anybody has any other pointers for students, feel free to share those too. Or if you have any questions that you've thought of, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erica. This was
Of course.
helpful, I think, just to give us an idea of what does it look like in this virtual space. And I'm going to give you all some time just to think about some questions. If you don't have any, we'll definitely shift over. And I do want to share this video and a couple of other helpful pieces of information. See a couple of folks just kind of dropping thank you. So yeah, Erica, this was helpful.
Glad it is helping. And if you guys come up with anything, any other questions later on too, that's why I shared the slide with my contact information. You can see if I can go back to it. Now it's not working, but feel free to reach out to me. My email is there, and ask me those questions as well.
Awesome. And we've got this recorded as well. So again, if you registered on Handshake, you'll get an email with just some follow-up logistics and information. And I'm going to share in just a moment a couple of slides in this video so that hopefully you can get a better idea of more of the platform, some logistics, all of that good stuff. So definitely jot down Erica's information for follow-up later on.
Perfect. So Jenna, should I stop sharing now and pass it over?
Yeah, that would be great. Okay. So I wanted to start with, this is just, can y'all see my screen okay? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So this is just how you're able to register. Again, it's all through Handshake. You can actually go ahead if you want to click this link or use this QR code and go ahead and do it right now. But essentially you're just going to click a register button, and I'll show the video in a moment and it walks you through how to actually set your schedule up. So you do have 2 steps to take where you'll need to hit register in order to just be signed up for the event itself. But then from there, you go in and build out your schedule depending on who you want to talk to, what employers you want to meet with. And like Erica mentioned, there's those one-on-one settings and there's also group settings. So you have 2 different options depending on what the employer has. Again, some employers are still building their schedule. So if for any reason you don't see an employer with the schedule up, don't worry about it. Don't panic. You'll want to come back in maybe on Monday morning or even check throughout the weekend and see when they update their schedule. Because a lot of employers are still working on inputting all that into Handshake. I'll also share out these slides afterwards. So if you want to do this at a later point, you're welcome to do so. I wanted to share 3 main things that you do want to make sure that you're able to do in advance before we actually get to the expo date on Tuesday. Signing up for schedules is probably the biggest thing because that secures your spot with the employer. You can sign up on Tuesday. That's absolutely an opportunity. However, if other students have already taken those slots, that they're going to be gone at that point. So just know you want to go ahead and do that as early as possible, and you may need to be checking it over the weekend to make sure that you get into those employer slots that you want to. You will need to update and upload your resume to Handshake if you haven't already done so. We review and approve those just to make sure they're up to the standard of the recruiters that are coming to our expo and our fair and any other events that come up. So that's something that you will want to make sure that you do. And when I send these out, both of these links are going to lead you straight to articles that show you how to upload your resume and also how to make sure it's visible to employers. So those are 2 key things you want to do with your resume as you're getting ready for the expo date. You'll then want to learn a little bit about the fair feature. It's really new to us, it's new to y'all, it's new to some of our recruiters. So everyone is getting used to and comfortable with it. But the good news is there's tons of videos and articles. And so this link will show you all of those and you can navigate to any of them. The video I'm going to show is probably the one that I think gives you the quick overview, hits the highlights, says here's the basics of what you need to know. So that's why I'm going to show that one. But there are a lot of other videos and articles that give you even more depth to what does the fair feature look like, how do you navigate it, or any other questions that you have even on the day of the actual expo. We'll also have a Zoom room available with some of our staff in it. So if you think of questions on the day of, you'll also have us there to be able to answer those questions. So no, this is not the only time you can ask those. And speaking of which, I will also include this slide in that email follow-up. So if you do have additional questions, we still have one more day of expo prep, resume critiques. I know Erica gave you some awesome tips. So if you implement those, update your resume in some way, and you want to bring that to us and get a quick critique, we have a virtual option for you to do that. So any other questions that you think of or ideas that you have, feel free to come and chat with us during these time periods. You can sign up and get all of the details on Handshake as well. Everything's pretty much straight through Handshake, which is nice and easy. Okay, so with that, I'm going to shift out and stop sharing. I'm going to share this video so that we're able to view it and see, like I said, those basic pieces of information you really want to know in advance. So give me just a moment so I can switch over to that. All right, so I'm going to start playing this. If you're able to hear it okay, you have a reaction button at the bottom of your screen. If you'll click on that and give me a thumbs up or something just to indicate that you're able to hear this when I start it in just a moment, that would be really helpful.
Handshake is the #1 place where students find jobs and get hired. We've developed a way for you to attend career fairs virtually so you can meet interesting companies looking to hire students like you. Here's an overview of how it works. In Handshake, to locate virtual fairs, you can click on Events from your homepage, or you can click on Events from the top menu bar on any page in Handshake. On the Events page, you'll see a list of events and fairs that are upcoming at your school. You can use the filters at the top of the page to narrow down the displayed list of results. To identify virtual events and fairs, click on Virtual. If you see an event or fair that you'd like to save for later, you can click the icon for the bookmark to the right of the fair name. To navigate to these at a later time, you can click on the Saved filter. If you're ready to register for an event or fair, click on the title of the fair. In the upper right corner, you'll see the button to register. You'll see a pop-up appear on your screen that provides an overview of the fair on Handshake with a reminder to mark your calendar and sign up for sessions. Click Register once again to proceed with registration. Now that I've registered for this fair, we'll see 3 tabs appear under the fair information: available sessions, your sessions, and career fair details. On the details page, you'll have more information provided about the fair from your school, the contact, employers that are attending so far, and other schools that may be attending the fair as well. The Available Sessions tab will show you a list of employers that are approved at this fair. You can use the filters at the top of the page to narrow down the displayed list using keyword search, location, job type, or click on all filters for more filter options, including work authorization, industry, job type, employment type, or preferred major. As a reminder, group sessions will include multiple students and are 30 minutes long each. One-to-one sessions are each 10 minutes long and are a one-on-one session between you and the employer representative. When you're ready to sign up for a session, simply click on the session name. You'll be able to see an overview of the company, and you can confirm that group session attendance. You'll see a confirmation appear in the lower right corner, and now that session appears on the right of the page under your sessions. If you'd like to sign up for one-on-one sessions, you'll see that some sessions may have a red dot to the right. That indicates that this time frame is already booked on your schedule, so you will not be able to schedule these times unless you cancel the other session that you're attending. And now I've registered for a one-on-one session, and we can see that appear on the right side in my schedule. The Your Sessions tab will provide an overview of sessions that you've RSVP'd for and provide some tips for how to stand out at a virtual career fair. If at any point you'd need to cancel your session attendance, simply click on RSVP'd here, and you can cancel the reservation by clicking Cancel Reservation. You'll receive a prompt to confirm that you do want to cancel. You can choose at this point to cancel the session or to keep the session. If you cancel that session, you'll see that is now open and a confirmation that you have been unregistered from that session. A helpful tool is the Show Open Sessions option. You can see that the duration is for the full length of this virtual career fair. If I select Show Open Sessions, I'll be taken back to this screen with the employers that are listed, and I can choose to sign up for more sessions throughout this virtual career fair. On the day of the virtual fair, you'll be able to join these sessions via audio and video. Video is optional. You are able to join up to 10 minutes early per session to test your audio and video connection. As a best practice, we do recommend showing up on time and prepared for the interaction. For more information on attending a virtual fair, please see the linked article right above this video in our Help Center.
All right, so I hope that gave you a quick overview of what it looks like when you're in Handshake, once you click register, and how you're able to navigate to set up your schedule. I love that you have the option to go in about 10 minutes early. Erica mentioned being prepared, getting in there and testing your audio and video out is a great option. So you have that option in Handshake to do that 10 minutes early for any or all of your sessions if that's what you choose to do. With that, I'd love to answer any questions. And Erica, thank you again for being here. So if you have any, again, feel free to unmute yourself or drop those in the chat. But that does conclude kind of the content that we have prepared for today's session. So thank you all again for your time. And I'll be following up via email with a link to this recording as well as with some additional information, resources, and videos.